keyboard and some tea. Lives a man with a funnel plan as clever as can be. He ditched his law degree for plugins that go zing. Now WooCommerce dances every time he pulls a string. Hey, evil genius.
All right, good morning, everybody. It's Spence.
And tricks from his
Getting it on time today. I love that. It's Friday, December 5th, 2025. Does anybody else feel like time accelerates at the end of the year, especially this year? Today, I have got three big announcements. And also, everybody who is here, please give me a heads up. Hello, Lloyd. Good morning. I noticed that I started today, my color scheme is off because StreamYard did an update and we have this crazy blue instead of my lovely orange. Let me see if I can do anything about that. Lloyd, let me know how I'm doing with the sound. Good morning. Anne is in the house. And let's see. There it is. There's my brand color. I'm not sure why it decided to take a dive. Come back, brand color. There we go. Good morning, everybody who's showing up today. Today, I have three announcements inspired by my lovely friend, the wonderful Anne Stevenson. When we were talking yesterday, John Lawler in the house. Good morning. And Devin is in the house. I'm going to go, I am Dr. Devin. I'm going to assume that's Devin. Good morning, Devin. Okay, so let me set the stage what's been going on. This week has been exceptionally good and busy. I've been wrapping up a couple things that would really affect all of you guys, but in the actual process of working with real live VIP clients, real live customers, some customers who are transitioning over, been able to ferret out, sort of filter out some really new and innovative things. And as time goes on, and I'm going to share that today, the systems that we're using are getting better at being simpler and simpler. So I'm going to show you some examples today, crazy as this sounds, of how not only do I have Bernardo or Fernando or Francisco running things, but that with 2 plugins, 30 seconds, you can have a gorgeous site up and running. And then I did some experiments with Anne that I'm going to show you that's led to a new product. So 3 things. Number 1, I want to talk about the MinuteLaunch Simple Site, the whole idea, because number 2, that leads to the MinuteLaunch 5X, which is the array of the things above FluentMCP that John and other people have been asking about, with updates to include the latest Nano Banana 3.0, but also the methodologies of using things like Gemini 3.0, where it does certain things that Sonnet doesn't do and vice versa, but how we're going to use that with Cursor. And then finally, I want to talk about this VIP, of which many of you guys are going to be participatory. And I'll explain what that is, because I was talking to Dan Dieso and also many of you about this. There's enough of my VIP customers and clients using my new methodologies that I want to give you guys an environment using the very same tools that I have used to launch all of these ideas, so that you can further collaborate with each other, as well as to share a higher level of information with me. Today, I'm wearing my Costco Helpful Guy vest colors. So let's get started, shall we? And the first thing I always have to do here is, yes, indeed, I have to share the screen and do a StreamYard little dance. So let me do that. And you know what I'm thinking is today, Today I might go with the sharing the browser to start with, because I can show the whole thing, but I'm going to share just the browser. Let's see if I can pull this off. And let me do a little dance here with my screen arrangement. Sorry, guys, have to do it. It's harder for me to deal with StreamYard than anything else. I'm not sure why. I love the product, but it's harder for me to deal with all the nonsense with dancing around. Okay, so here's what we've got cooking. And I'll try to look for the comments too, because I have things covered up. First of all, let me set the stage for a conversation with Anne Stevenson. Ann and I oftentimes will brainstorm stuff, and Ann, I'm not speaking about you as if you're not here. I'm speaking as if, please jump in. Ann and I will often talk about ideas, and she has a lot of gifts, and I love Ann to death. We become friends. She was one of the few people that, well, not few, but one of the people that knew me in May of 2023 when I met her, right as all my back stuff was happening. So she's been with me every step of the way on this whole journey. And I think we talk oftentimes about life and similar things that we share. But one of the amazing things is that she has a gift for seeing some things the exact opposite of me. Not better, not worse, just opposite. I have learned over years to do Marie Kondo, and Ann represents a group of people who are very talented and smart in the nutrition field, but like maybe don't have technical backgrounds. So Ann looks at things like, would this be more complicated, too complicated, and so forth. So we were talking the other day about a few of her clients who are using these products and the things that she wants to do. And it occurred to me while we were talking that she had the germ of a brilliant idea, which was, what if we extended the MinuteLaunch Canvas blocks along with the FluentMCP into a product called MinuteLaunch Simple Site? That is, you install 1 or 2 plugins, and then whether you use the dude or not, you can use your own dude like Gemini or Perplexity or anything to make gorgeous, fully functional, fully AI designed sites with nothing else. And because you have FluentMCP or MinuteLaunch AI to connect that, you also can have the agentic control that you want. And as we talked yesterday, in about this much time, I got Bernardo on the case, and he wrote a plugin called MinuteLaunch Simple Site. And the germ of the idea actually extends out from what I'm also going to share with you, which is that most all of my client solutions now are actually with front end design. In other words, that not just design, but they're doing all front end logic. The true dream of headless WordPress is here. So let's do a little scaling of my website here so I can give you a better look and feel. All right, here's the concept. I've just got an Insta WP nonsense site. This is not anything special. I don't know why that's also so weirdly, sorry about this, that's so weirdly shaped, not filling the screen anymore. There we go. This Insta WP site called Ann's site. Now, Ann and I were talking yesterday about Google Gemini 3 has this ridiculous front-loaded capability to do design stuff. So when we were talking, I want to set the stage for this. I said, and I don't know if you can see this, but it says, hey, Gemini 3. By the way, this is not Claude or Cursor or anything else. This is just me talking to Gemini in the wild in a browser. Hey, I've got a brand new site, Cadence, and it's using the default classes, blah, blah, blah. I basically said to it, make me something super cool that would be like a business website or whatever. And it gave me something to spit out looking like this. Notice it can even do things like the navigation. It can do the buttons. It can do the logo. It can do the whole thing and make it look super cool. And by the way, it first came out, it was green, but I told it, make it purple. And then Ann and I started talking, and again, I'm trying to make this simple. It occurred to me there's a complication for some people when they go ahead, and I'm going to show you here, when they go ahead and use even the Cadence theme, there's a complication because number one, they have to go in and understand, oh, I've got to go into the customizer, which first of all, even for me, look, I'm trying to find, customizer. And oh, I've got to set up this header. And oh, I've got to click on this logo. And oh, I've got to go and do navigation menu. And oh, I've got to set the colors. And oh, I've got to have a color palette. And oh, do you see where I'm going with this? And it occurred to me, like, why the hell do we need that for 99% of the people? Because we already know that you can talk to a dude and he can just give you a full website. The complication is like, how do you manage the navigation? How do you manage the footer? How do you manage multiple pages if you want these to work together? And then like ta-da moment, Simple Site was born. Here's Simple Site. Simple Site is a plugin that you'll notice uses a very similar metaphor to what we've got in MinuteLaunch Canvas Block. That is, if you don't know what MinuteLaunch Canvas Block is, that's the tool that allows us to connect our FluentMCP or our MinuteLaunch AI MCP to the site to run it, but it's also friendly for humans. So for example, if I was making a single page website using a dude, I could do, look, one page ML website. And all I do is the MinuteLaunch Canvas Block. And then, like, for example, here, if I went to what this guy had done, I would go into Google, copy the code, and I'm doing a lot of bouncing around, paste it in. I do a preview. This is actually a different website because this was something he did later, and I'd be good to go. If I went back, by the way, to the earlier version of this, if I go all the way to the beginning, here's this one. If I go to the beginning and copy this, I get basically a pixel perfect website by copying into a block. And for most people, that's enough. I mean, quite honestly, why do I need to have anything more complicated than this? Let's see if we can get this to work. Why do I need anything more complicated than this to make a website? But then it occurred to me, all right, what if we wanted to do custom navigation? What if we wanted to do multiple pages? What if we wanted to do more? So what Simple Site does, and sorry for all the bouncing around, I am bouncing around quite a bit. I'm going to go back to the admin dashboard. Simple Site is a plugin that takes the concept of the MinuteLaunch Canvas block, and it essentially gives you a starting point where there's sample data installed, but you can add any number of new blocks, and of the blocks that you have, you can drag and drop them in order. In other words, I can create the contact and put that above the about. And I can preview and edit just like I do inside of MinuteLaunch Canvas Block by just scrolling down, editing text and saying, you know, hi, you know, join me on your site. Okay. So two concepts. First of all, MinuteLaunch Simple Site is one plugin that allows you to have multiple blocks of stuff. Notice you can give names to all of the sections. So contact me will become not only the name of the section, but also will create, if you want, a navigation menu item. You can choose to show or not show over here in this right-hand side, the navigation menu, if you don't want to show it. Like, for example, in the footer, I don't need to show the footer in the navigation menu necessarily, so I just choose to hide it. But I have a block and I can customize it using the dude, outside dude, inside dude, any dude at all, or stuff that I've previously created and saved. Now, you can load the sample content to start with something to play with, or you could just delete the stuff and start from scratch. Here's the other simple parameters I put in. You can make it a simple single page site or a multiple page site. That is, what if I want the appearance of something that you click around and go to each page? I'll answer your question in a second, John. So let's say multi-page site, and I preview this site, and I wanted to click around and go to other pages instead of scrolling. I can actually do that. Notice it's giving completely the appearance, and notice if you can see it, it's even changing the URL. But all I'm doing is creating this all in one simple interface. Next, if I go to simple scroll, save changes, preview site, this will scroll down, scroll up. Notice for 95% of the world, this is all they need. In other words, imagine a situation where, as I'll show you in a second, you go to a brand new site, you install one plugin or two, maybe three. You install Simple Site plugin, you install hopefully FluentMCP or MinuteLaunch AI MCP, which will be called ML. What am I going to call it? I'm going to call it MCP. So either MinuteLaunch MCP or FluentMCP. It doesn't matter which one. They do the same thing. One of them does just a little more. But that can control it directly. But even if you don't, you can just do copy paste. Just make something beautiful and put it in one or more blocks. Next, you can choose not only single page or multi-page, but you can also choose whether it's disabled, shows automatically on the home page without having to go into settings general, or you can put it on a specific page, which you can then create or choose from an existing one. Super cool also. So it doesn't have to be the only page on the site, but it could also be the automatic homepage, which gets your domain covered. So you point a domain to a simple InstaWP or a Rocket or something, bing, bam, boom, up and running, ready for the dude to design something beautiful. Logo. Instantly use the media library, upload, use pixels, do whatever you want. You can change the logo just as simple as that. If I go ahead and put me in as the logo, I can now choose to show that, and I can alternatively show the title or not show the title, right? So if I show the title and I call it ML Simple Site Spence, save, preview, probably need to deal with caching. I'm not 100% sure because I notice that's still showing the old stuff. Not saying I have it all figured out yet. I still have probably a couple things to work out, but I'll double check why that is. The logo will show instead of the other one. And that's a good question why I don't know. I'm going to call that a caching issue with InstaWP. But bottom line, change the logo, change the title, show the title, set the main color. Next, navigation. I put in very basic controls here. Do you want to show the navigation at the top? Because, for example, what if you have the dude just make the whole page, including the navigation? Then you don't need the navigation. If you want, you can choose these very simple settings: fixed or static, how high it is, what color the background is, what color the links are, what's the font style, what's the size. That's it. You don't need more. Thank you, Marie Kondo. And then who can edit, right? So admin, editor, author. This just makes it as dead simple, lightweight as it can be and be up and running. John has a question. Thank you for waiting. What do you do after you made changes to edit text to continue editing in Gemini? You have to, when you're editing in Gemini itself, you just have to keep telling it different versions. So that's what I did here. I just kept telling him different versions of stuff. And I was like, dude, I like the first design you had. I want to make this simple. And he kept going. So let's do an example. I mean, let's have fun with this. Let's go and create a site. I'm just going to randomly create a site, call it anything. And we can do this with or without the FluentMCP because that's easy enough to set up. But like setting up the FluentMCP, we know what that does. We know it gives the dude direct control to edit this stuff as well, which is awesome. All right, so here's a site. And I think it's easier if we actually use Cadence thing under the hood. Why? Ann and I were talking about this as well. Let's say you don't do Cadence and somebody wants to do something else. They're going to be stuck with some crazy silliness from 2025. So at least put in the free Cadence theme under the hood, because that at least gets you in the door of what else they might want to do. Next, we add the plugin, which currently is on my desktop, but it'll be available to everybody who's either in FluentMCP world or in MinuteLaunch AI world. So I'm installing it here locally. MinuteLaunch Simple Site. Look at all the fun stuff I've got on my desktop here. Okay, watch how fast this goes. Now, I don't need Canvas block here because I'm using Simple Site. Remember, you can install just one plugin. Here's Simple Site. Nothing is installed yet. So let's decide what I want to do. I'm going to display this as my home page instead of the default. Now, I could put in some sample stuff, but right now I'm not going to do anything other than just a really basic hello world. Should just be like the text. Let's just see if it's showing up as the home page. And if this doesn't work, Don't be mad at me. I just wrote this yesterday and I haven't even had a chance to test it yet. Okay, but it's working. Notice the header is there. So, and let's, by the way, be careful. I have so much stuff going on. Let's be careful I stay on the proper site. Durable Lark. Okay, next. We talked about whether you need the navigation or not. If I turn that off, let's just turn it off, save it, and let's refresh the second tab. Notice the navigation goes away. Okay. Now, here's the bare minimum you could do if you wanted to do so. Let's go to Gemini or Claude or Perplexity or anything. And we're just going to say, hey, this is Spence from WP Launch Make me a gorgeous multiple panel HTML5 WordPress website about how to be awesome using WordPress. Make it in the colors that you find over at WPLaunchify.com. Do something really creative and gorgeous with images that talks about anything you find out about me, and give it back to me ASAP. Now, that's a horrifically stupid prompt, but I'm just trying to make it silly because somebody who is, let's say, your client or customer, I assume what you're going to do is you're going to have some guidelines or guidance. Ann and I were talking about that, and I'll say in a second, that's where this VIP is going to come in. I'm going to give you guys stuff that I've already been building, my dudes have been building, to make this much easier. Like, here's a starter template or a thing that will tell your dude or Gemini what to do, so it doesn't just do rando crazy stuff. While he's working on that, I'll show you what I mean. If we go to FluentMCP, a couple things here to share with you. Number one, thank you for everybody who has joined. This is an accessory that I think complements what I'm doing at MinuteLaunch AI, because when you buy it now, you're buying it forever, and your client can use it forever, but you or your client can also make use of not only the fact you get affiliate referral, but also you can have an annual hosting bundle or concierge support for hourly. So there are ways to actually have this as a in your pocket solution for your own businesses and your clients, and use it as a complementary difference to what happens with MinuteLaunch AI, which is a subscription service. Fluent does not include Spence by default or hosting. This allows you to get it, but a la carte. Here's what I'm referring to. The knowledge base, which my dudes are building, will give everybody and your MCPs everything you need. And you can see I've started to put in these awesome skills. These skills have two parts to them. They have the who, what, when, where, why for humans, but they also have to the right, you click and get the stuff for your dude. Either copy the instructions or copy the URL, and you can give that right to your dude, even if your dude is in Perplexity or Claude or Gemini in the web browser, because this is a published website. It doesn't need MCP connections or anything of that nature. It can just do its thing. I have somebody who's doing a little Instacart shopping for me, and I'm checking to see what is missing. Okay, they are going to be arriving perfectly. I'm multitasking today, guys. All right, so the idea is this knowledge base will also have a comparable at MinuteLaunch AI that allows you or your dudes to understand everything we're doing and why, including things like the skill I'm showing. Next, and then I'll go back to the other thing, I am going to be turning on this community at FluentMCP and probably at MinuteLaunch as well. This is going to have a VIP space. I will talk more about that in a second. Okay, so back to Gemini, doing my multitask. Notice here, he gave me a thing that has navigation. If I just shared this as is, I can go back over and notice I just do the one block HTML, paste it in. I can preview it. Looks like it's in there. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We'll see. I don't need navigation, so I'm going to say save all changes, and let's see if I preview it, if it works out. Looks pretty freaking crazy. Now, what are the things to learn from what I just did? Notice he did the logo for me. I have to tell him, maybe make the WP not a dark on dark, because it's really dark green. You can't really see it. But notice it's the root URL of the site. It's a fully operational website. It's got all this cool stuff. There is some weirdness, like they do very badly when they do light on light, dark on dark. But other than that minor thing, Really nice effort out of the box. But I don't need the navigation necessarily. Maybe I want to build my custom navigation. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell him two things. First of all, I'm going to say, and this is weird too, I'm going to say, awesome first job. I need two things. First of all, as a rule, never put dark text on dark backgrounds and never put light text on light backgrounds. Can you please fix the problem? I think because of the theme underneath, you have to use important when you're setting those alternative colors. Fix this up a little bit and also lighten it up a little and add in some imagery. You can use placeholder from your sources or Pexels or Unsplash. Put some people in this. Okay. First of all, to John's question about what do I do after I've done it? If I'm working with the browser-based dude, I can either open up a project or I can just talk to him and it's just a chat. And I don't care because when I'm done with him or it making stuff, I'm putting it into Simple Site. What the real magic would be, though, would be for FluentMCP, where if I go over here and I can add in the plugin for FluentMCP, I can then have my dude editing all this stuff directly as part of my normal relationship from the desktop. But I wanted to show you there's two benefits. You identified one of them. One is that this is a way for a newbie or somebody who just wants to iterate quickly to just make some crazy cool stuff and not have to worry about it, right? Like, look, he's already doing some cool stuff, but I want to make sure that he gives me back the HTML. I'm going to say, okay, so update your HTML5 and give me something that looks like your model there because I like that lighter style. Give me back the code. So the second benefit is, besides the fact you can use any LLM for this, is that it's instantly satisfactory and it also saves in the site what to do after it. I'm not sure if I understand your question. Are you asking me, like, if I edit in here, is there versioning of this? Because I'm not sure what you're asking. You're asking me an obtuse question. I apologize. Maybe I'll drink some more coffee and I'll stare at that for a second. Hold on. What I would do is, this right now doesn't have versioning, but you actually give me a thought. Maybe I should have versions, which I could add to this so that you could go back and forth in time. That could be a feature I might add. But remember, Simple Site, you could also just save as a page the output, and then you have it all there to reuse again. Well, I think what you're asking is when you do edits, I think what you're asking, I will probably add to this next version. And watch, let's do Spence in action. Let's do it while we're live. I'm going to call up the dude who's writing this. Where are you, dude? Here's the Simple Site dude. I can't see you guys anymore because you're under the screen. I'm going to share the screen differently. And I'm going to do this live without a net. So let me change my share. Let me change my sharing so you guys can participate with me in this. I'm going to full screen, baby. Full screen. Okay, I got to put me down there. All right, now here is, this guy doesn't have a name. I didn't name him. Enrique. Hey, Enrique, it's Spence. I'm live on the Friday office hours, and John Lawler has a really good question. With the Simple Site plugin, can you add in versioning so that, just like with regular WordPress post types, if we want, we can save and then go back and forth to previous versions? Is that possible without making things too complicated? That way, let's say if John makes edits and he doesn't like an edit, he can go backwards in time like you do for a regular post. What do you think? Let's see what Enrique says. Enrique's going to say, John's brilliant. He's so smart. Thank you, human. Hey, Spence, great question from John. Yes, I can add revision history. Okay. Auto save revisions when you click save, revision panel, one click restore. Let me add this. There you go, John. It's coming during the conversation. While he's working on that, let's go back over here. And I'm going to set up my screen a little better now that I'm doing two panels. You notice it's very it's always difficult for me to find which dude is doing which thing. I've lost which guy is doing which. Here he is. This is what I was doing yesterday. I was trying to find which dude was doing which thing. I had 9 guys working at once. Okay, look at what this guy has come up with, which is really clever. Let's copy that out and let's put that in just while we're doing it manually at the moment. Paste in, preview, looking pretty interesting. Save, and let's look at it in the actual output. Okay, I just want to tell you how awesome this is. I don't know what you feel about this, but just out of the box, what did that take me? Like 30 seconds. And I've got a beautiful site that even without using the benefits of FluentMCP and all the other things, I basically had to create a website with all the kinds of cool stuff that I talk about, including the potential of doing more. There's still a few things that are weird, like the ready to launch, but 99% of the stuff, including some cool, what appear to be placeholder images that get me going. Now, Anne, jump in here, Anne. Anne and I have talked forever about, oh, this is too complex, or maybe somebody won't like this, or actual clients of ours who get lost. This, you can't get lost, because watch what happens. I'm going to say this. That was freaking amazing. I love that. Let's do a change. Can you make the primary colors an orange instead of the green? And again, be very careful in the header and the footer that you don't put dark colors for the hero H123 on dark backgrounds. Redesign this with a different look and feel with orange as the primary color. Okay. So when you have a client who needs your help, you have a choice of either giving them a simple site and being like, have fun, follow the instructions, or here's a link from Spence's FluentMCP free skills on how to make awesome stuff, or the dudes can just do that. Number 2, you could have your dude create the stuff or directly connect to the client site. Number 3, the client buying FluentMCP or MinuteLaunch can have their dude do this directly. So you give them a little like head start, or you don't say anything at all, and their dude just does this stuff directly. Again, we know how that works. But think about all the other things that come from that. If the client can get exactly the look and the feel and their site and get it up and running instantly, and you can manage it, they can manage it, anybody can manage it. And if we can modify the looks and the feels and everything else just by giving it words and details, but yet you can still go in and tweak a few things, right? Like quite literally, you could go in and go, you know what? I want to say do not, okay, just build. That's all we need. And in many ways, that even obviates, not entirely, I'll tell you why, but that obviates the needs for anything else. Anything else. Right now, if I wanted to, I could put in Fluent Cart or WooCommerce, or I could put in Fluent Forms if I cared. I don't need that. Fluent CRM. I could put in anything else that runs a shortcode and put it into a panel. And look at what I've got running on this site. Look at the plugin count. One plugin. If I put FluentMCP in there, two plugins. If I put in Canvas Block, three plugins, and I'm instantly able to create awesome outputs. Look at this craziness. This is impressing me even as I do it. Every time I get more and more impressed. So I'm going to Simple Site. I'm just taking the one block. And by the way, I don't need to name the block, but I'll call it home because I'm not showing the navigation, but I'm going to show you how we'll change that in a second. I add that in. Let's see the new layout. Okay. Come on. You got to be impressed here. I mean, first of all, the navigation, everything else is awesome enough. And if I wanted, I could link this up to my Calendly or anything else, right? How do I do that? Well, if you use MinuteLaunch and you've got, let's say, Fluent Booking, you can put that address in. I have a Calendly. If I go to calendly.com, WP Launchify, and I do Spence, that's the name of a calendar, right? Watch what happens, right? That kicks open my calendar. Okay. All I got to do is either tell the dude or I just do it myself. Look, it's book discovery call. I don't need to be a genius to search for book discovery call and see that little hashtag. I just paste that in. Done. Save. And now I've got a fully functional site that's gorgeous. I can edit the stuff. When I click this, it opens up the discovery call somebody schedules. 99.999% of your clients would be dancing for joy at what this is doing. I mean, quite literally. Let's do the next level though. Let's say, for example, we wanted to use not the single page scroll, but we wanted to make something that was like a multi-page. So first of all, I'm going to tell this guy, even though he's in Gemini, oh my God, that is amazing. That is crazy. I can't tell you how much I love that. Give me an alternative version of this that also embeds some kind of a video or a other kind of YouTube thing from WP Launchify for the watch strategy. Now, I could also ask him to take the header off, but I'm going to show you how easy it is to take the header off with even no skills. Again, he could do it, but I can do it and I can show you how to do it, because if you search here for navigation, typically they follow a pattern. And notice, I don't know if you can see this, I'm going to zoom way in. See how they put in notations by default? These guys aren't stupid. They put in navigation. All I need to do is just take the navigation part, scroll down until it says end navigation. I cut it out, save it. Now I go over here and I can do other navigation, or I can have no navigation at all, right? So see how I have navigation? I'm going to say show navigation, yes. And I can do the link colors that I want, some kind of orangey thing. I'm not being specific here, but I'll just pick a sort of orangey thing. And I can do, you know, Montserrat or whatever it gives me. And let's just do Arial, 16 or 4. Let's do 16. Background white. So it's a fixed header. I only have one page, home. I'm just making a point here. I removed the header from what the default stuff he gave me was so that I can make the header myself. So see where it says now Lark, and there's only just the home button, which is what I'm on. Let's add some new things in. Do you remember, like, he had it scrolling down to other places, which I could still do, but I can also make other new pages. So let's ask him for something else. Let's say, take this exact style of what you gave me and give me a contact page that is awesome, that uses all the same colors and fonts and stuff, so I can make a second page on my site. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm saying, look, I love the design, even though you're off in Gemini world, give me another page that is a second page that I'll use on my site. And for this, with Simple Site, all I got to do, again, notice I'm not leaving, I'm not going anywhere else. I'm just going to say contact. Okay, that's it. I don't have to do anything more or less. I just have to add a second thing. Now he's going to give me a second matching contact. And if I want, I could tell him, by the way, leave off the navigation. I just want the content of the contact page itself. Same style. Make sure you include all the CSS and the styling, but just, I don't need the navigation at the top. Okay, so just be specific. Pretend like you've got an assistant who's awesome, but you're telling them specifically what you want them to do, right? And if you want, you can also include a model contact form field that would be later able to be connected to Fluent CRM via the API. So you don't need to worry about this, but one of the things I want to share with you is that part of what I've been doing with other clients is realizing that for their high-end stuff, we can actually make gorgeous contact forms and things for taking in customer data that talk directly to Fluent CRM. Do not need the Fluent Forms plugin. Do not need it. which means that the design capability of the dudes, whether they're inside or not, is like exemplified in its finest, because it's 10 times harder for them to have to use a plugin like Fluent Forms and work with Fluent Forms, make Fluent Forms do stuff, than to just do it natively in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and so forth. So since we can later connect this, he can make the form, everything looks good, and then we just go ahead and give the API key fields so that the link will work, and this form will talk to the site if we installed Fluent CRM and enabled the API. Magic. Or you could keep it super simple, and you could just use, like, God forbid, but like a Contact Form 7 or a Fluent Forms free. Who cares? Okay. So now he's given me the code. Let's just, again, code mode, share, copy contents, right? So code mode, share, copy contents. Let's go here. Let's just paste it in. Notice I got contact, I got home. Both of these are for navigation. Save all changes. Cross your fingers. I have not updated to the new John Lawler version yet. Notice I've got home and contact. Home and contact. If I go to contact, it scrolls down to the new panel. Let's make it a multi-page site. So multi-page simulates and actually shows different URLs instead of a scroll to. Let's refresh. And now contact is its own page. Home is its own page. Have you ever seen anything this easy before? What about spam bots, Sam? You mean with the form? Well, first of all, this is not here to show you how awesome the forms are, but can you tell me, how awesome is this contact page? How awesome is this contact page? How awesome is this website? In 5 seconds, I made this thing, and I can keep editing here. It gives help at WP Launchify, which, by the way, it figured out for itself. It could probably find my phone number. It's got my socials. It's got the look and the feel, the color. I mean, come on. How long have you people been struggling with cadence? I'm losing my mind here with excitement. Okay. Don't worry about spam bots, Ann. This is, by the way, I love Ann to death. Like, seriously, I love you to death. This is such a great example that you asked that question, because this is what our conversations are like. It's like I build something awesome and I go, look, it's awesome. And Ann goes, what about if I double parked on a Tuesday in downtown Chicago? What would happen if I got the parking ticket? And I'm like, I never thought about that, Ann. Because, like, what are you talking about? Don't worry about the spam bots. Fluent CRM has double opt-in. It can handle a spam bot, because if you really have a problem with spam bots, just make Fluent CRM require a validation before somebody gets added to the database. So love the question. Perfect example for the rest of you guys why I want to do this VIP, because see, everybody has a different perspective. Ann and I have had such a wonderful relationship because, like, I only see the world through my eyes and she sees it through her eyes. And John Lawler, you see it through your eyes, and everybody else is here. Right, exactly. And I love Ann to death. I love John. I love all you guys for all your questions. Lloyd, everybody who's contributing, you're all making this a better thing for all of us. But what I want you to understand is, holy cow, how awesome is this? Now, let's go on with the feature set. Notice, what if I decided to just change the order? Cool. Even the simplest of clients can understand I changed the order. Okay. Now, let's do something even more awesome. I can use Canva for logos, but I've already got this dude here. Hey, dude, this is awesome. Can you make me a transparent PNG logo that I can upload to this site? It should be probably 250 pixels wide by no more than 100 pixels high. Something awesome with those orange colors that represents what I'm talking about. Give it to me, baby. Now, I don't need to do so, but if I wanted, I could put on the Google Gemini Flash, whatever the hell it is, for Nano Banana. It doesn't need it. If you tell it, notice, see it, it's because I know John was going to ask that. It's loading the Nano Banana already. I do not really think that Google Gemini does great logos. I think I would still use Canva or have your client. This is the easiest thing in the world you can do. Okay. Literally, you could just say, Canva AI, make me a logo that's 250 pixels wide by 100 pixels high. That's something to do with WP Launchify with orange colors, representing something to do with launching or tech. And it doesn't, you don't need to literally tell it what to do. You can just select it. But the thing about Canva is Canva gives you editorial, right? So Google Gemini is spitting out ice cream and you get what you get. This, if you like something, you can actually refine it further, right? I'm not saying they're awesome all the time, but you kind of get where I'm going. Like these things could actually be worked on. I kind of think this one looks pretty good. This is minimalistic. Okay. See, notice how like I can edit this. It's L-A-U-N, L-A. Yeah, it's spelled right. But like, notice I can edit this. So if I go in the editor, I can do more with this. But for right now, guess what? I don't need to do more. Just download it as a transparent PNG. Okay. 500 by 500 is perfect. Why? Because this is exactly what I need for a simple site. Logo, upload, select file, downloads, vibrant logo. I'm done. If your client can't do this, God help you. Okay. And I'm going to change from Durable Lark to WP Launchify. Hey kids, this is my new site. Let's hope the logo works. And there it is. Notice I'm showing the title and the logo. If I didn't want to show the title, I turn that off and it would just be the logo. And I probably want to make that logo a bit bigger. So again, I could adjust. I notice I could probably use some controls in here. I don't have controls in here to make the logo bigger. So I'll probably put in a control for there. But let's make the height of this nav menu 100. And that way it'll at least be a little bigger, probably by filling the space. Okay. Not too bad. Again, I think if I cropped it and edited it, it'll be better. So for example, here, I could just crop and edit this and fill the space, or take the whole thing and just make it more giant. Either way, the concept is solid, that you'll be able to just put a logo in or do both, which in this case wouldn't be too bad because I can make the color orange. I think that should work. Again, I haven't tested this, so no, I got to do a color. I got to make sure the color works there. Next, I have, let's do one other thing. Let's do something like a video embed. I'm just curious. I haven't done this before. Let's take a video embed like today's office hour. And I'm going to just copy, share. Notice that you can grab the embed code here. You don't even need any special stuff. And I would probably tell the dude to make something super sexy here instead. So I'm going to give him this. I'm going to be like, make an awesome third page for this YouTube embed. And I'll just give him the thing. Oh, by the way, his logo is even better. I'm going to use his logo. So I'm going to say save image as. I'm just going to use this WP Launchify sample. Put it in downloads. While he's making that, let's change out that logo because that one will actually fill out the space a bit. And again, I'm not trying to impress you with my design capabilities here. I'm just trying to impress you. Imagine you or a client was trying to do this stuff. Notice what I have not done. I have not configured any WordPress plugins. I'm not dicked around with any other stuff. This, I can also use the editor built in to crop it, which is super easy, right? So if I want to make it bigger, let's just get rid of all the space. And I would probably do this for real as a transparent, but I don't really care. Good enough. Okay, so logo, choose that one. And let's see. While the dude is making the the YouTube video page. Very nice. Now, in this case, that's why I could turn off the title. Super awesome. All right, final step on this. And then I want to talk about the VIP stuff. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I love this. I love this so much. He put the URL, I put this heading in. I could take that out. I love that. Just FYI, I don't need the navigation here either. Could you leave that off? I'm going to just use the code and I'm going to edit myself. But I just want to say, holy cow. Holy cow. So now I'm going to make a third page. I'm going to call this video. Paste in. Just like before, I'm just going to search for navigation, the word navigation. And inside of that video block, it's not that hard to find. And if you struggle, fine. But I mean, come on. I don't know if you can see this. It's just like giant yellow highlighting. So just do that. Go to the end of the nav, take it out, call it a day, save it. And again, if you tell the dude to give you the parts, it doesn't need even that. So now I've got home video contact. Let's put the home back to the home. By the way, I'm going to give you guys this URL. You can go check this out yourself. Let's put home at the top where it belongs. Save all changes. Here's the URL so you guys can play. I don't know why I didn't give that to you at the beginning. That is not what I wanted to do. Hold on one second. That is what I wanted to do. Okay. So go have a checkout of this. Homepage. By the way, let's save this. Somehow I didn't save the contact relocation. Save all changes. Get a green light at the bottom. Okay, so notice it highlights which page. I got home, I got contact, I got video. It's got an embedded video. It looks perfect. Book the strategy call. It goes to the contact page, or it could. I just got to tell it to. I guess that's on me. I bet you if I told it to link all the pages together, it would. Look, it picked up on all of my other things that I do in the video. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. Now, I want to make a point here, which is if you guys think that you're going to keep up independently with what this kind of stuff is doing, God bless you. I think you are more adventurous than I am. I can't keep up with this at a design level, nor would I try, because I can now take this whole setup, tell the dude, save these 3 things, and then put it inside of a skill document for future use. I can give it to my dude and tell him, here's an example of a site, right? So watch, I'll be like, listen, here's a site that I just built that has 3 pages, home, contact, and video. I want you to go and use your Chrome developer tools to get those 3 pages and their content so that we can use it as a future model, but also so we can make a skill document on how we built this. I'll later give you the Fathom transcript or the StreamYard transcript of today's video, but just acknowledge that you understand this, because I think we're going to use this for creating documentation for the Simple Site plugin, okay? And so I'm telling him what we just did and why, so that later when I come back, we can reuse everything that just happened from today. And for some reason, what I just said didn't work. So I'm going to say, listen, here's the URL of the page we just built. It has a home, a contact, and a video. I want you to go and find all these pages using your Chrome developer tools, save all the data of what we created. Plus, I'm going to give you today's StreamYard transcript so that you can write a skill document for everybody else's LLMs to do exactly the same thing using the Simple Site plugin, okay? I think he's Enrique, right? You're Enrique, right? I think he's Enrique. I forgot. Yes, he's Enrique. Okay. So Enrique is going to go do that while we're talking. And he can actually hand it off to Bernardo, who's doing my docs. And Bernardo can write the docs that will end up in FluentMCP. So let's go talk about FluentMCP. FluentMCP has really been a success because under the hood, it is using the very same simple tools. And one of the things that has come from this is that the simplicity of the tools, the method that I'm showing here, the capabilities of doing more has made it possible for me to not only prove we can do more with less, but also that when we do more with less, the documentation, the skill sets, everything else as I'm showing here can be saved. But now the humans need a place to congregate. And so for all of you, I want to make a special offer. And I'm open to suggestions in this, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. But first, John has a question. Will you have a skill doc explain how to create the skill doc? Already, great question. Already do, by the way. Let me answer John's question by going first here. The FluentMCP is the most up-to-date, lightest weight thing. There's already a skill called creating FluentMCP skill documentation. Here is the actual link. I don't know if you're loading me up. Thank you for that layup. But yes, indeed we do. And so you can actually go here and give your dude the link, or you can do it yourself. There will also be associated videos with this because most of the things that I do have videos. But this is for all you kids, the way Spence is avoiding doing what he did with launch flows and launch original and WP launch kit. I create something awesome. I get hundreds or thousands of people using it. I fall behind on the documentation. Now I don't ever have to worry about that because all of my publication, my schedule, my production, my output, my marketing, my SEO, even plugins while we're doing live shows are being done by my dudes. And these are all available for you guys in any variety of ways, starting as little as just the FluentMCP or watching this for free, because you can reproduce most of what I'm doing here, even with this simple plugin. You can just do this for yourself. And my docs are public. So these documentations that I'm showing here, these are all public knowledge base. 99% of what you want to do will be covered here, even if you're not using my stuff. By the way, don't get all hung up that these things don't have any documents in them. This is a library that I have a full-time publisher working on. He's with his kids this morning. Okay. By the way, so I don't lose this, I'm going to go back, and Enrique had rewritten this plugin, right, for John. So now it's version 1.4. Let's try version 1.4. So I'm going to go over here to plugins, install. I'm going to add version 1.4 and see if we got the versioning that John had asked for live on the site. During the show, Spence and his team are updating plugins, fully documenting them, making magic happen, right? So let's do MinuteLaunch Simple Site. This is a dream that I feel like it's a fabulous dream. It's not a nightmare. This is like something I never thought would be possible after 20 years of doing this. But the fact that I could do this live with you guys now is just blowing my mind that I am live working with my team of tools that I can give to you to do exactly what I'm doing. And instead of spending all day long, I can do this in a way that's like, holy cow. So now let's see if we got versioning. I didn't ask him to tell me where, but I remember him saying something in the footer or something simple he's going to give me. So let's see if I can figure out what he did. I like to sometimes like see if I can figure it out. I see nothing that's making it obvious to me. So I'm going to ask him. Enrique, where is that new versioning in version 1.40? I don't see the controls for that. How does that work? Oh, I got to save it at least once. Okay, so let's save at least once. Saved, refresh. And then if I've already saved, it says click in the revision history panel will appear below, add new block. And there it is at the bottom. John Lawler, congratulations. You've now got everything you dreamed of and more, thanks to Enrique. By the way, for those of you who are wondering, this will be a component included in FluentMCP or in MinuteLaunch AI. Here is the new MinuteLaunch AI interface for version 5.28, which you guys all be updated to. It's all of the same components, but as I promised, we're going to eliminate some things. I'm going to be getting rid of officially the canvas block and the Claude MCP in favor of what I'm now calling MCP. It's the updated version of the FluentMCP with all of the just amazing tools and more, but done in a way that's universal with all the things I've learned. So we don't need Claude and Cursor MCP. You will be getting, of course, Canvas Block 305, which is still as awesome as ever. Fathom, which pulls in all of this information that you get from your video calls with Zoom and so forth. Flow Video. Image Compositor still works if you want to do multiple images like I've been doing for these product shots. Image Editor, which is my mainstay. LaunchKit MCP, which is awesome. That's the way you're going to manage all of your traditional plugins, or have your dude manage them. So instead of having to worry about is there an update available? Just have the dude go get the premium plugin and the dude can do it, right? Media Hub P2P still exists. I plan on doing some more cool stuff, but that's what gives you, for example, the noun project icons, searching for an image, or having your dude search for an image, which I can't tell you how awesome this is. But if you just literally, wanted to go for an image of something, I don't know, Mike Tyson or something like that. I need a picture of Mike Tyson that's, Creative Commons search, right? The dude can instantly get an image that he or she or it can use inside of your site or put in your media library or use in your production, right? So I don't know if you appreciate this, but that in and of itself is just one of the coolest little built-ins that maybe you're not using that often. And then let's see, at the bottom of this, video scripts will still stay in place. What you're going to lose, what I'm going to remove, is Spence style. That has to go. The two legacy MCPs are going to go. Design clone goes. Here's why. Inside of the new FluentMCP, this is why I'm using it as the basis for something bigger, is the ability with one little snippet to add everything that you want for doing extra design stuff, right? So if you wanted to add the design capabilities, you can just literally add a little snippet onto the config file and you're good to go. So I think it's in this panel here. So if I went down to, actually it's in the setup and install. If I went down to the bottom here, this is actually an older version of FluentMCP. In the new version of FluentMCP, there's a panel here that says add design tools, and you just copy and paste it and you're good to go. All right. By the way, I want to talk about the VIP because we're at the top of the hour. But if I wanted to add FluentMCP in here, I just put FluentMCP in, put my license key in, connect it to my dude, and the dude has access to all of this stuff that he can work with. All right, let's talk real quick about the VIP. Here's the business question for you guys. Dan DSO, I don't know if Dan's here today. We were talking, each one of you and I have a relationship that has led to more potential conversations of business. So I use the term like mastermind. That's a term bantered about, but like mastermind is when you get smart people together that can share a vision. And especially if you have smart people who have validated that they have a vested interest in being professional. This is the part that I'm open to, but I'm going to fairly put it out to many of you because there's a few of you who are very participatory, but not fully participatory. Okay, here's what I mean. My VIP has always been $5,000. $5,000 gives somebody access to me. In the past, it was like spending lots of time, manual labor, digging with the shovels. Now my VIPs are very dynamic. They are what you see here, where I just literally, my dude, your dude, talk with the tools, collaborate, and I'm just coaching my virtual assistant that you've basically rented or bought on how to do better stuff. And I love that. I love that because instead of me going, here's a shovel and dig deeper, or John or Fred, I just go, the dude will do the work. Let's show it what to do. But notice how little plugins I needed here. I just did all of that with one plugin, not even the MCP. But if I add the Fluent Card, or I added WooCommerce, if I added the CRM, WP Fusion, 4 plugins, rocking and rolling. So what it was suggested to me is that the VIP is going to be, and I like this idea, it's going to be a lifetime community access for people who have paid for a VIP. And this is the part that makes me a little anxious, but I also want to say it out there, and I have to do this. I researched around. There's people who I listen to and watch, like Sam Parr and Sean Puri over at My First Million. Sean runs famously a site called Hampton. Hampton is a $25 one-time admission and then $9,500 a year to be with people who have $3 million a year or more businesses, or who have taken in multi-million-dollar venture capital. And the reason that that's important is because it does 2 things. Number one, it validates the sincerity of the person's involvement and their interest in succeeding. And number 2, it really, to me, feels only fair to those who have done it to make it that kind of exclusivity. So here's where I'm going to say something that I feel anxious about, but I'm going to say it out there. I think this VIP club is going to be only for people who have paid for a VIP. There may be some exceptions that I make for certain people under certain circumstances because I'm a human being. But like as a general rule, I think it's going to be, if you want in on this, you're going to have to pay for a VIP. If you pay for a VIP, however, it'll be a lifetime admission, and there'll be a dossier on you and your business and what you're interested in and so forth. And everybody else there will be real people with real contact who have real businesses, real interests, real experiences, real whatever. So you're not buying into like Spence is doing stuff for you. You're buying into, if you become a VIP customer, you get access to this VIP relationship with the other people. And based upon what I'm showing you here and what I know is being built and so on and so forth, I quite frankly feel this is going to deliver enormous value, because already with many of these ideas, all the VIP customers and I have built offshoot stuff. You can see just from what happened today with John. John throws in a couple ideas and I change the plugin, boom, off to the races. I have some things for fun that I'm going to show this weekend. That I have this community of 12,700 people on TrikePilot. I came up with an idea talking to Dan about something I could do to make that community pay money for stuff that will probably pay back more than $5,000 immediately. So I'm going to leave it out there as a meatball, but this VIP is going to be launched by my dude, documented. All that information will be free for you. All the things I do are going to be free, documentary style. So even if you're not a VIP, you're not losing. But I do feel it's only fair, with the exception of people that I may make scholarship for an exception, that this VIP is going to be, you pay the $5,000 and you're not only getting the benefit of what I can do as somebody working to deliver you a virtual assistant that's an expert at all things, but then on top of that, you become part of this lifelong access to something that you will build relationships with people who similarly situated can be working on business ideas or working with each other. Because many of you have different perspectives, like I was showing you, Ann, I, John, Lloyd, etc. And I think this is going to work out well. And I feel, again, slightly anxious to talk like I'm going to exclude anybody, but I don't think I'm excluding. I think what I'm saying is I do feel I'm over delivering on all other levels. And I hope you feel the same way, that there's something for everybody from free to like whatever. But this has to be exclusive for somebody that's paid, because otherwise it just really wouldn't be fair. I mean, think about it. Like if you built a gorgeous concierge hotel experience and anybody could just come in off the street for free, it sort of devalues the benefit, doesn't it? Plus, I think the privacy and the security of somebody feeling like these are other people who are really serious about what they're doing and they want to succeed, I think that's important. So I'm open to your suggestions. I love all you guys. I hope today was exciting. A lot of great stuff coming this weekend, including the updates that I just hinted at. I hope that you'll also take use. If you don't have FluentMCP, get FluentMCP. If you have MinuteLaunch AI, great for you. The people who paid the $250, double down again, man. You guys made the right move. So let the lesson be there for anybody who's listening. The value keeps coming, I hope, even for something crazy like that. I hope that, by the way, if you did do the $250, that you will join me for either the full FluentMCP, the MinuteLaunch AI full, or the VIP. Otherwise, have an amazing weekend. Love you guys all. Really excited for what's to come. Talk to you soon.